Hello everyone, welcome back to FPL Jedi Show. This is Gameweek 16 preview. My name is Hafiz and I would like to welcome first Azmin to the stream. How's your feeling coming to this Gameweek 16?
Well, it was the preparation was normal, but now a sudden announcement came up yesterday, a bit earlier than expected. So it means that we got a lot of things to talk about. So yeah.
All right, and Afosz, welcome back, Brady. So how's your feeling?
Okay, exciting times. The way FPL announced the new chief, and of course I got back my rank to top 100k. So let's think how things goes in the week 16.
All right, so plenty action. As I think the most important thing what happened in game week 15 was the Liverpool against Everton postponement. I think a few hours before the deadline. And then after that, there's a lot of frantic in terms of people looking at the team and how they're going to make a transfer from last week. And then suddenly, I think normally we live stream yesterday, but it's a good thing that we actually live today because the mystery chip was revealed yesterday night in Malaysian time. And it's a good point for us to discuss on the reveal of mystery chip that we can share now, the assistant manager chip. I think let's jump straight into that, everyone. So, which is okay. In a nutshell, first before we deep dive, the chip itself, as we all know, been revealed before the expected January 2025, of which you can now pick a manager alongside in your team as your assistant and bring your points into the team. Later we deep dive. Available from Game Week 24, you can pick this manager to deliver points in the next 3 consecutive game week. And then each win, you be awarded a basic 6 point, a draw with 3 points, plus 1 point for each goal and a clean sheet. Extra point for an upset. Later we touch on that. And you need budget to bring this manager into your team, depending how they will rate in terms of manager, 0.5 million ranging to 1.5 million. And you need to allocate this budget. So the first reaction from the big reaction from managers, the players, the mixed one. Some mention a bit extreme. Some mention this a good opportunity to gather more points. So I go to Azmin first. Your first reaction to this the introduction of assistant manager chip.
Right. So after the announcement came, I took quite a bit of time reading the rules and a lot of feedback and the reaction to it. Obviously there's a lot of positive reactions, a lot of negative reactions, and a lot of discussion has gone on since. My first thought was that, okay, so it's nowhere as simple as a lot of us thought it would be. Something like maybe the vice captain getting double points as well, or maybe the auto captaincy where your captain will go to your best player, or the best formation together with your bench. So it's a lot more complicated in that. So you can look at it 2 ways. One is very complicated. I'm not going to be able to optimize it. But the other way you can look at it, and which I prefer to look at it, is a potentially very powerful chip. And we can look at that later on when we look at the what you could potentially get, and it's definitely not like any other chip in terms of how powerful it is. Okay, and I think it's good for the game, although it's because it's only available after game week 24, and it does make me wonder. So next season, let's say assuming it goes well, no system hiccups, that thing, are they going to do it from the start of the season? So yeah, and the other thing, my other initial reaction is that if I'm not sure if you guys used to play any other fantasy games, but there were fantasy games where you also choose a manager. You would also have a manager, and that the manager would score points. Nowhere as complicated as this. It's just a manager who will score points if your team wins. Yeah, okay. That's it. Yeah. And
Okay.
yeah, so and you always get a manager. You can choose your manager. It doesn't come out from your funds.
Okay.
So in this case, it does come out from your funds, and it does count as a transfer. So you need to plan a bit more.
Right. So, Afosz, your first reaction is a positive one or a negative one?
Yeah, I think it's for me it's positive. Of course, a positive one. It's a totally new chip for me. That's unexpected one. I always thought that the old all-out attack chip is gonna be back.
Alright.
The one where we can do a 2-2-5-3 formation.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it's an all brand new chip that I think is totally new to everyone. We need to plan ahead on the right time or the best time to use it. Or if you can try to play it safe, just pick the most likely to win the all three game weeks, all three games. So just try to secure the total of 18 points and whatever number of goals that those teams are going to score. So yeah, we'll see how the planning things goes but for me it's an exciting chip, to be honest. Also you
Right.
can kind of plan not to clash with those who have not used those triple captain chips and whatnot, because it counts as a chip. So the total of 3 game weeks you cannot use any other chips.
Yeah, I think interesting one. Maybe I let Azmin unpack this a bit more in depth because he's definitely has done some study than me. So maybe you can share a bit more.
Okay, well, okay. So first, obviously, it's only available from Gameweek 24. I'm just going to start with the lines and extrapolate from there. So we are currently into Gameweek 16. So we've got 8 weeks left. Okay, so let's not go overboard on it yet. But the most important thing that everyone should do is start planning as to when you use it. Yeah, and look at what's the potential where you are looking at, and the reason why you do need to plan is because the most important rule, which isn't stated here, is the fact that while this as the chip, which will be on for 3 consecutive game weeks, and while this chip is on, you cannot play any other chip. So this is where it impacts, because if you're looking at, I think previously before the announcement, for example, the triple captaincy, we are suddenly looking at that when that Liverpool-Everton match was going to be rescheduled because you got a double match there. Now, with this, you might want to go for this instead, which means you can't use the triple captaincy and you have to use it elsewhere. Obviously, those who've already used the triple captaincy, this is not an issue, but it does still goes for the same in terms of your wildcards, in terms of your, what's the other one? Bench boost. Yeah, so you can't use those chips while that assistant manager chip is active. So the second point, which is 3 consecutive game weeks. So you can choose any game week, but once it's activated, you can't deactivate it and use it in 3 game weeks later. You have to, it just goes on until the end. So you got 3 consecutive game weeks, and that's why you need to plan. Now, when it says pick a manager for 3 consecutive game weeks, for that first week, it counts. It doesn't count as a transfer. You get to choose. But after, let's say you can actually change your managers. So when you change your managers, it does actually count as a transfer. So when you do that, it counts as a transfer. Hang on, let me just check something.
Okay. So basically, when you use this manager chip, if you're you look into it, you need to use your transfer.
Yeah. So the first time you bring in your manager, it doesn't cost as a transfer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only if you want to change your manager in the next 2 game weeks, then it'll cost you as a transfer. Okay. So I'm just going to jump to the next point, because when you choose a manager, you need to have funds. Okay, so it will cost you. Okay, so now it's based on the strategy guideline that they also released together with the rules. They didn't specify yet, but they said that manager's price will be between 0.5 to 1.5 million. So not a lot. So it's manageable, but it does. This is why we do need to plan. Okay, so as to who costs more than others, That is subject to, that hasn't been announced yet. So I did release a rough idea of who I think would be cost
Okay.
most, so Slot, Arteta, Pep Guardiola, Howie, those are the guys who would cost 1.5, and then you have the 0.5, so most of the promoted teams, the Ruud van Nistelrooys, and
my feeling, if let's say they want to not complicate things, they just categorize 1.5 million this manager, 1 million maybe mid-table, and 0.5 million the bottom half or more. I think that.
So how are they going to cost that? That will obviously there'll be a lot of people unhappy. I think, was it Afosz? You asked me, where's Amorim? And I said Amorim, everyone else is in the 1.0 million. So I think
1.0 million. I think, but look at a positivity. That could be a good thing, because you might able to pick Amorim if, let's say, Manchester United somewhere in the 10th place or that, and suddenly they have good fixture, and maybe we can jump to them, right? And
although I did make a sarcastic remark on Twitter saying Gary O'Neill should be free, because someone like that, because he's just rubbish, But and you get out of any points that you get, that's awesome already, You don't have to spend. But anyway, okay, so that's it. Okay, so that's how the cost in terms of getting the managers in. So now the next part is, once the manager in, how does he score? So that third point, 6 points win, 3 points draw, plus 1 point for goals and clean sheets. So every goals get you one. Every goal will get you a point, and a clean sheet gets you 2 points. Okay,
gets 2 points.
A clean sheet gets 2 points. So now just now when we were talking about and Afosz was agreeing that the potential to get a lot of points is there, because for one chip, just for 3 consecutive game weeks, let's assume that manager wins 3 games in a row. That's 18 points from one chip, and that's not including all the other points that you can get as well. So it's very powerful, but again, you need to figure out when's the best time to play it. Okay.
So can I say, SSM Major could easily be the most powerful chip comparing to this is the free hit, bench boost, and 3 captain potentially.
Potentially what? Sorry.
Potentially it could be the most powerful chip over free hit, over triple captain.
Yes. Because, triple captaincy, let's say Haaland the other day, 17 points. He got 17 points, the game week 2. So they got an additional 17 points. So this one, assuming that you get the manager who wins 3 in a row, that's already 18 points.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so that's a simple illustration to show how I feel powerful. Okay, so the other thing is in terms of the extra points for an upset. Now, what does this mean? It means that teams who are lower than the opponents, they get a result with the win or draw, they get more. And where this assistant manager definition is concerned, a superior team is a team that's 5 ranks above them at the start of the game week. Okay, so
itu lagi pening lah. Can I say that lah? I don't know how they're gonna do that every week, right?
So for example, let's take a look at the table now. Okay, so if you look at the table now, let's say you who's the hard. Okay, let's take a look at the matchups. Who's the hardest matchup that you have at the moment? For this game week, I think it was Southampton versus Spurs. Okay.
Yes. Southampton versus Spurs. Yeah.
Okay. So okay, that's not the hardest, but still, Spurs are 11, Southampton 20. So that's 9 spots. So definitely it qualifies as upset if Southampton were to win. So if they win, then they get the additional points, and those additional points it's really can really boost your score. Yeah. Okay. If you get 3 upsets in a row, and this is something that Afosz alluded to at the end before we started streaming, where it might be in our best interest to look at teams who are fighting to survive towards the end of the season, because the potential for upsets will be stronger. Yeah. So the bonus points. Okay, even if you manage a draw, you get an extra 5 points.
5 points. I think that's a lot.
Yeah, extra 5 points is huge. and just for draw. And if you win, you double that. You get an extra 10 points. So
So
that's
what's the maximum that we can get from that? Say, 16
Oh,
plus 16 plus 16, is it?
what's that? Sorry.
The potential ceiling of
Okay,
this.
for one game. Okay, one game which is an upset. Okay, one game that's an upset. You got 6 for the victory, plus 10 for the table bonus, 16. If you get a clean sheet, that's 18. And if you get just one goal, 1-0, that's 19 points for one goal with 19 points just
for one game week.
One game week. You still have 2 more game weeks to go. So that's really, really strong. Okay, so in terms of the point scoring, just to clarify, it's on the rules because managers can get yellow carded in matches.
Oh,
but
man.
There is no guideline here that says that managers will be.
I think they won't do that, right?
Penalized. Because people get benched.
No, if I'm right, I read somewhere, if let's say that manager gets sacked, the points still count, regardless whether the manager is there or not.
Yes, correct. So assuming you don't change your manager because you've been locked in. Yeah. But having said that, I mean, I did raise the question, but I don't know, who's going to answer it, or we only figure it out. Well, what if, let's say, Russell Martin is fired.
Yes.
And the next game week he gets another
manager installed.
Manager gets fired, and Russell Martin gets employed elsewhere. So where does he get his points from then? If you don't change your manager, if you had picked up Russell Martin,
I leave that to FPL to headache for that.
It's unlikely that one manager gets fired and immediately gets employed the very next game week or 2 game weeks later, It's a very unlikely scenario. But as we saw with Ruud van Nistelrooy, who was temporarily in charge of Leicester for game, and then after he left, he got immediately employed by Leicester. Sorry, he was with Manchester United. Sorry, and then he got employed by Leicester. Very short space of time there. So maybe not one game week, but the game week after. So that's within 3 game weeks. So that's something that they'll probably need to clarify. All right, so that's my spiel. It's in short, very powerful chip, but you need to plan. It's all about the plan.
Can I just check in for Afosz after hearing all those things? A lot of permutation, a lot of thinking, a lot of planning. How about for the casuals and for the people like us? I think I mentioned earlier before the stream, there's a lot of questions from my mini league friends who are playing this like a simple plane of just picking the 11 players and 3 bench. But now these chip are complicating things for them. So what do you think, Afosz? How after hearing all this, there's a lot of things is going on.
Yeah, in the sense of to use the assistant manager chip, I think the most simple way is to pick the top teams punya managers lah. Like for example, Slot, for example, Liverpool is currently doing well. They just gotta find the 3 consecutive good fixtures for Liverpool that high chance of winning all those 3. Then just use that chip during that particular 3 game weeks. So Liverpool have a good chance of winning. You secure those 18 points plus whatever the amount of goals that they're going to score. I think that's the most simple way to use the assistant manager chip, and try not to complicate things when to use it or who to pick or not. So I think the casual or those who are not really try to get the most points out of this particular chip, try to make it easy. Just pick the top teams that high chance of winning all 3 game weeks punya games.
Okay. Fair. I think I'm not sure whether Azmin mentioned this, but this manager slot will take your slot for 3 maximum players in the team. So if you have 3 Liverpool players already in your squad, or 3 Arsenal players, say you have Raya, Gabriel, and Saka, which probably that will be the team for most people, then you won't be able to pick Arteta. If you have, say, Salah, TA and Alisson. I don't know, that situation can happen, then you might not be able to pick slot. So like I mentioned before this, maybe people are not looking at Man City more than one, say Haaland. Maybe Pep Guardiola is somewhere that people can land easily. Second one, maybe Chelsea, if you're picking only Palmer in your team. Or who else on top? Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man
Chelsea.
City. Yeah. And I don't know, if you could go any Villa or Forest manager, like they could potentially have high upside too. So I think, but you really need to plan. I think that's a good thing because you delay it up to game 34. You have that 5 free transfer in your pocket that you can manage. But every transfer is very priced, right? So it will be interesting moving forward with how people will do the strategy. So, mate, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the fact that you're able to bring forward more than one transfer now, I think will help in terms of planning this manager use. And coming back to Afosz' suggestion, I totally agree. I'm not what for the if you're not the one, if you not want to overcomplicate things, then just go for the most strongest manager. Don't, they wouldn't think about who's most likely potential to cause upsets, because to be fair, those are the ones with the highest potential to totally backfire. You go for the safe play and don't worry about it. Choose one manager for the 3 stretch, and don't no need to change managers between the 2 game weeks. And then when it's gone, it's gone. And if you choose one of the stronger managers, they are unlikely to suddenly get fired. Well, I don't know about Pep, but in general, the chances of that happening is very unlikely. So you don't have to worry. So yeah, then keep it simple. Then then it's fine. Yeah. So
All right.
Yeah,
All right, great. I think we'll discuss in more depth, definitely moving forward, especially when game week 24 comes, and looking at potentially where the 3 game weeks can possibly the best option. I don't know whether Afosz already studied that. Afosz, you want to share anything? Potentially, which 3 best game week is people are looking at?
At the moment, I haven't studied deeper in terms of particular best time to use those 3 consecutive game weeks. But the most interesting one, I think, is to play it simple, just to pick the best team that have a high chance to win all 3s, or if you want to take that really high risk, try to save it at the last season, pick those team that fighting for to survive in the Premier League against the relegation zone. So there's a high chance of high goals, high scoring game. And so most probably, like for example, like previously the City versus Spurs game. Who would have thought that Spurs to win against City? So for example, if assistant manager or is already since earlier of the season, should suddenly people just pick Spurs manager during that particular game, so they will get a lot of points. And for the same time, those who are picking, for example, Pep, thinking that City is going to have good run or whatnot, and suddenly City is trying the performance declining, so it just making waste of usage of assistant manager chip.
All right. Okay, I think we concluded at least a summary of how the assistant manager chip works, but we will talk more a lot moving forward. Let's go to the next topic. We'll take a look a bit in how we perform in game week 15. We do know Liverpool and Everton match was postponed due to strong wind weather and those kind of things, adverse weather condition. I think a few hours before the kickoff, which some managers have to really plan last minute and getting your bench right. But for my team, as you can see, I scored highest among 3 of us, but it's only 65 points. 804 my total points, jump rank from 0.7 4.2. Not a lot, but I will take, because 2 green arrows now. I'm moving forward, which is the feeling is nice after I'm reaching Haaland a few weeks back. And then what installed in my team, Salah did not play. Konate, the player that injured, but I decided to roll my transfer, and I'm thinking when Greaves could play, but he did not turn up. So 0 point from there. Gabriel did not play and no bench coming in because my Koleko is my last bench. So another 0 point. But it's a nice one for Anori, 1 assist, but was considered 2 goals against West Ham. So it's still nice after that. Back-to-back 0 points, if I remember. Flecken with an assist. Who ever thought of that? An assist, 3 points. But he was yellow carded. So I think that's why I'm angry on that. If potentially he could get that 4 points. Same goes to Rogers. Okay, lawan Southampton, no return point, and then he decided to be yellow carded at the last minute and got 2 points. So that's frustration. But I think a lot of media did ditch Mbomo, the most transfer in game week 15, but he decided to turn up with 1 goal and 1 assist with 13 points in total, and rewarded to managers who patiently still have Mbomo in his team. I know he's still a transfer out that people will plan, but at least I got that 13 points. Saka blank, but Palmer with the 18 points, 2 goals from penalty and 1 assist, 3 bonus point. So Palmer captaincy over different managers like Haaland, Saka. If you go there, it will definitely hurt. I've seen some team had that situation. Pedro and Cunha continue to blank. They are testing my patience. I think 3 of us have those players, right? So we will touch on them yet. But you know who's decided to score? Raul Jimenez with a goal. When I had him for so long, he did not do anything. He decided to score a goal and 3 bonus points, if I'm right, against Arsenal. So that happened. And Jackson also blank. So in total, only Palmer and Bomo return in my team, if I'm right. So that's
Ignore.
Fine. Oh, then you need to count Flecken returning taking return, right?
Yeah.
With the seat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's my team, 65. Let's go to our Afosz team, slightly lower, 62. Still decent. A green arrow, 113 to 91k. So can you talk through your team?
Yeah, I think I shared almost the same result with Hafiz, by the exception of defenders. Instead of Greaves not playing, I have Mazraoui was not starting but decided to come on the bench, so at least he got 1 point. Hall also conceded quite a lot, conceded three goals, got 1 point, but written from the midfield, of course, Palmer, we know that 2 goals and 1 assist. Bruno scored 1 goal, so that is the only written from my team. Yeah, I know he got assist, Palmer and Bruno Fernandes. But the thing that upset me the most is Bomo, no, who got 13 points. No, because looking at his stats, I think since game week 10, he did not have any shot. He had only 1 shot in game week 11. Game week 11. So game week 10, game week 12, 13, 14, he has 0 shots. So I think is the best to transfer him out. And when everybody does, he just scored an assist. So kudos to keep him and have faith in him.
But you actually did Mbomo not in game week 15, right?
Yeah, I transferred way before that.
So it's not that painful, I think.
It's not that painful, but it's painful that some still have him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think at least everyone in this job, but at least you got some 1 pointer coming in, which is better than me. Paul and Mazraoui 1 point. I'll take that definitely. At 1 point, Ipswich looks like they're gonna keep a clean sheet against Bournemouth before they late 2 goals. nasib baiklah, I suppose. If let's say it's with Captaincy, I would definitely hurt more because Griffiths is not in the lineup. That's what I feel.
Also to point out that in this particular game, since Liverpool versus Everton is postponed, so there's going to be a split of captaincy pick. So that's when I thought that, hey, why not try to captain Jackson?
Ooh.
So I did captain Jackson, but after going through here there, then at the very last minute I decided to play safe and just captain Palmer, because one thing, Palmer gets a penalty
Yeah.
in case
I
of
agree.
anything. So yeah, that's the whole reason.
As-
Otherwise,
as-
otherwise my rank will be totally.
Yep.
totally
As a
red arrow
Chelsea
now.
fan, definitely I would suggest to captain Jackson because he could actually turn out good or turn out really bad and don't do
Yeah,
anything.
exactly.
So I think nasib baiklah, okay, which is still nice, 62 points. So I think your team is okay. You have 3 transfer, right? Later we touch on how your team will be.
Yep.
Transfer plan.
Yep.
And last but not least, your team slightly lower, 49 points because you captain Saka. I think that's the different thing, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So the main difference in me not performing is because I just captained the wrong player. So underestimation of Fulham's defense, thinking that Arsenal's starting to click, they'd be able to power off. They expect a 1-1 draw with Fulham. So totally, blindsided me there. So that's 18 points. And if I got those 16 points additional, then definitely, it would be a green arrow. So defense, very pathetic, but Aitnuri the last day on Monday night, managing to get an assist. So Saka, Rogers, Palmer, we all have. So my big transfer, which to be fair was not exactly something that I had was certain to do, but it was forced by the fact that my Buona Notte player who I did not realize that he would be against Brighton, where he would be ineligible to play. So that prompted me to crap, trying to figure out what do I do? Do I just continue with my Robinson, and plus the fact that Salah was not going to be playing, and Gabriel looked like he might be out, so I'd be short, and I didn't have faith in Justin or Robinson, and so I felt I needed points somewhere, and that's where I transferred Solda Buonanotte for Bowen, which turned out to be a real stroke of luck, I guess. But after Sunday night, my rank was about 600k. It was just like, oh crap, Then I got the hope that Cunha, Bowen, and Aitnuri do something. Cunha blank, but Bowen dragged me back by 200 plus thousand ranks back up. So it is a drop of 84, but it could have been worse. Yeah, so thanks for that. So my difference in my striker was I have Evan Nilsson instead of Jackson. But to be fair, yeah, none of the picks do, so I'm not fussed, even though I'm disappointed that he could have done more. Yeah, so that's it. And of course, Sa has now lost his place to Johnston, so it will be Sal's from now on. So 49, I'm not upset. I'm just annoyed at the captaincy because, but in terms of the players there, yeah, they would have gotten the green if I had gotten the captaincy correct.
All right. I think I want to salute you in terms of Bowen pick, because as much as you feel that it's a forced move, it's a nice move getting in at the right entry point, Wolves, and I can sense you're going to keep him for a few weeks before the bad fixture coming in for West Ham, which is still fine. And Bowen got a 3 bonus point despite a yellow card. So I think Bowen still the integral part in West Ham if let's say they want to bounce back, and looks like they have. And I definitely that could be one of people looking at replacing Bomo, because they the same like price point. We touch on that later. So this is our team. Just quick one in terms of captaincy, because Afosz did touch just now in terms of captaincy for Gameweek 15. And this also include Salah captainness, who Salah did it out and then goes to the vice captain. So in the end, Haaland still the most captain in Gameweek 15, because that could also a potentially where people mention, hey, Salah not playing, so I still have Haaland in this team. I think away to Crystal Palace, right? So maybe that could be a potential big haul coming to Man City, but it turns out only 7 points. I think he scored a goal, right? But only 1 bonus point, if I'm right, or 2 bonus point. 1 bonus point, yeah. So 7. And you can see, other than Palmer with 18 points, you can see there, despite 1.8 million managers over 3.4. So if you're in the Haaland camp, you'll be definitely frustrated. Okay, I can recall a late riser did captain Haaland, so there is a big swing if you go there. And then like Silvio made 1.4 million, Captain Saka only 2 points. Watkins is another surprise. He actually did not start against Southampton. Duran he scored that goal. Watkins come in and he missed a lot of chance. I can tell you that. And only with 1 point. I said it's a nice one. A reminder, I said still a good option despite the 2 fixtures. I think he's back-to-back return now. So maybe people can look at that. If I were in this situation right now, I would definitely have Isaac more than Jackson now. But that's the feeling after only 2 weeks. So let me touch on that. So main captaincy, Haaland is no longer the beast.
No, yeah, and the only reason that Salah isn't here is because he didn't get to play. Otherwise, he would definitely been on the list. But I guess I do feel bad for those who captain Watkins, who didn't even start the game. So that's really, but that's the tragedy of December. These things happen. You know, is the fixtures are so packed, and then when you have someone like Watkins who is also involved in the Champions, you know, so definitely this kind of risk is bound. You know, this kind of event is bound to happen. But other than that, yeah, you know, it's definitely a big swing. It was for me, not as bad as it could have been, but you know, it's still significant enough. So those who didn't captain Palmer, unfortunately, you've fallen quite a fair bit behind. So you need to, but again, it shows the importance of getting the right captain. Yeah, and it can really make a difference. So that's why people spend a lot of time just trying to figure out who the captain is. This is an excellent example why you should dedicate some time.
Right. Afosz did mention he almost captain Jackson, but now after looking at this, Salah is still number 1. Then maybe automatically Palmer is second if Salah not playing. What do you think after this game with 15? Is that what people will do moving forward?
Yeah, of course. I think at this point, I think most managers won't have Haaland anymore. Most probably just a few, or at least the higher ranked teams are currently they have Salah and Palmer. So the captaincy pick is most likely to switch between those two. But to be frank, if I have Haaland in my team, I would have captain Haaland instead. To be fair, because it's against Crystal Palace, and some more is Haaland. Despite City's poor form, we never know. Suddenly he got a hat trick or 4 goals or whatnot, doing some shit crazy things. So, yeah, and of course his price point at 15 million is he deserves to be captain.
Now
captain
it's 14.9. Now it's at 14.
Now it's
he's less. That is less than the initial price now. Wow.
And he's going to be 6.0 or something.
Oh.
So if he continues to do that,
I just want to mention.
I feel bad. I feel bad on suggesting to few of my friends to bring in Watkins, because even though it's a good game as the Villa versus Southampton, I think Watkins deserve to start or at least get a lot of chances, but he did not. So I think that's just bad decision to bring in Watkins. Yeah.
All right. I just want to point out the FPL comment. I'm Captain Palmer, but I'm worried when the Spurs lineup comes up, both VDV and Romero starts, which is also a surprise to me. And but Palmer and Chelsea is on form despite Spurs leading turnier, right? I think we can take a look later on that. But Budak FPL did mention about top transfer in also continue to curse. I think Jackson was the most transferred last week, if I'm right.
Yep.
So definitely that curse continue. So I think Palmer, no, I don't know, Salah one, Palmer too, right?
Pardon?
People will captain Salah more, but if they say Salah and not available, Palmer is automatically the second choice.
I mean, yeah, because the other thing that people were picked up Palmer anyway was because Salah was playing the early match, which people are a bit sensitive to. It wasn't an issue for me because I know Salah. It seems to be
Actually,
immune
it wasn't
from
an
this.
issue for Salah.
Yeah. Apparently, it's good for Salah. He likes this early match sebab dia bangun pagi solat subuh, so tak ada masalah. So it's just but because I mean in my case because I had my captaincy on Salah and when suddenly I found out Liverpool Everton, to be fair, I hadn't really looked at the alternatives. Yeah, okay. So I just but yeah, I have to say that I ran for the wrong option at the end. So credit to those who did go for the right option. So anyway, but the point is that it's great. And you mentioned you almost captained Jackson, right? Yeah. I mean, there are reasons to think that why he might do well. Definitely. So you didn't think that he wouldn't do well. But so the question we need to ask ourselves is Jackson in a run of poor form? It's something to think about. So I don't know, something to consider. The other thing is that, but one thing, if you remember, Jackson is on 4 yellows, so he's desperate to avoid that 5th yellow. And I don't know if you saw that gif of Enzo's. You had Jackson holding on to his jersey to make sure he didn't take it off. So they are conscious. They are conscious about not getting suspended, and I do wonder, is Jackson conscious of that it's affecting his play? I don't know. It's just a theory there, and as a result, the performance is not quite free. So that's just something I had wanted to mention.
Okay, let's just quick look at team of the week for Gameweek 15 who performed best with 181. Not so much when comparing. We had a big week like 130, 140 points total. But this is what it is in Gameweek 15 without the Liverpool players. Martinez in goal with 6 points, really basic clean sheet. Saliba scored a goal again without Gabriel playing. We touch on that. 9 points there. Konza kept a clean sheet. Villa 8 points. Lamptey scored a goal. Brighton in game with Leicester 8 points. Palmer 18. Gibbs White against Manchester United, right? 13 points. Mbomo 13. Dango not Clivert, not Semenyo. So Beltner player keep rotating in terms of delivering. You can never know who gonna return. This week is Dango. Bowen 12 points. Azmin have him. Raul 8 points. I'm irritated of that. But Vardy start to get into our radar with a 1 goal and 1 assist with Arivan making impact to Leicester team. Man, I go to you. Best team of the week. Which player interests you?
I mean, it's impossible for me to because at the start of the season I wrote Vardy off. But Vardy under Van Nistelrooy and Leicester as a whole, because they came back from 2 goals down against Brighton to get a draw, and against Brighton that's not easy to do. When you're Leicester and you're at the bottom there. So there's a lot more attacking. If you saw how Vardy got the first assist for the first goal, he went all out for it. So definitely there's some extra energy there, and he was allowed to play most of the match as well, so he wasn't subbed off early. So it definitely something to consider if you need someone cheap, and Leicester on the up. Having said that, the fixtures aren't great, so it's not exactly favourable. But if you think, because we know that Vardy can score against any team, and he especially likes it. And they were saying during the match that people were giving a lot of stick to Vardy, and the commentators said, no, you can't do that. You know Vardy is going to absorb it and push it out again, and he did. The commentators mentioned this at about the 30 plus minute, because I was watching that because I had interest, and it was quite, the commentators, no, you give Vardy stick, it's gonna come back at you, and he did. So it's definitely something. Nothing much. I guess Bowen will definitely appear on the radar now as West Ham fight to, for Lopetegui's survival, if anything. But the other point I want to mention is that in Gabriel's absence, Saliba has started picking up. I think our old friend TCK Chenkiat has Saliba, so he definitely is profiting. So it does raise a question for those of us who still have Gabriel. Are we sticking? Yeah, so it's not so much about picking Saliba, is whether or not it's worth it keeping Gabriel.
Okay, fair. Afosz, what do you think about this team of the week? Azmin mentioned he likes Vardy. He has Bowen now, Saliba. Who else?
Yeah, I think Bowen is a nice pick, considering that the next three is a good game for Bowen, if I'm not mistaken. As a good fixture, Bowen. Yeah, against Bournemouth, Brighton, and Southampton before Liverpool and City. So yeah, I think it's a good pick moving forward the next 3 games at least. So apart from that, maybe just like Saliba, I think like you mentioned previously, with the absence of Gabriel, I think since that Arsenal like set pieces and like corners, score goals from corners. I think that's the whole reason people picking up Gabriel, because he's very threatening in corner kicks. So now that he's injured, most probably the target maybe goes to Saliba, or maybe just Saliba try to steal 1 or 2 goals from corners, Arsenal corners. So yeah, I think it's a good chance to replace, even though it's a side move compared to Saliba, but still it's a good team to have a good chance of clean sheet, and one of the central back to get goal as well.
Okay, all right. I just quickly run through in the results. Game week 15. You guys can touch anyone team that you like. Southampton win against Southampton. We expect that, but only by 1 goal margin. Duran Day, and Villa kept a clean sheet. Brentford continue their good form at GTEC Community Stadium. At home, they are beast 4-2 against Newcastle. Another big Brentford goals. Last time Shade hat-trick. Now Mbomo get a goal and an assist. But we saw Shade is still in the mix for that 4 goals.
Yeah.
Palace 2, Man City 2. People are looking at potentially Palace, looking at player coming back as say Mateta and now Munoz. I think back-to-back goal. So people are already looking at potentially replacing Nouri when then Wolves game coming back later. Manchester 2-3 Forest. Forest is still a decent day away. Wood, I just want to mention again. Yeah. Wood again. Back-to-back goal, right? 8 points. The talisman. I think you have Wood, memang you keep lah all this. And now looking at back later at the fixture, later we look at the fixture. I think I don't mind keeping Wood now because the fixture is nice.
It's one of my regret of letting Wood go. No?
All right. Okay.
I mean, he's the most unsexiest football pick that FPL forward pick you could have, but somehow he just continues to deliver. So well done those who how fast
exactly
strong in the wood.
Okay, all right. Fair. Okay, Bruno did score this goal. Afosz can mention whether Bruno is still upset because those are one talking point. Fulham 1-1 Arsenal. We expect Arsenal to win, but Fulham kept their nerve and Arsenal only scored 1 goal. Saka not involved. He switched 1-2. He switched all hold the lead. But in the end, Bournemouth scored, and again late goals. 2 goals late, and the Bournemouth winning. Leicester coming back from that 2-all down against Brighton. So fantastic. They are now have 1 win and 1 draw since RVN in. Spurs falter after 2-goal lead. Chelsea scored 4 after that. And then Palmer in the mix. Enzo already in radar right now. People already talk about that. He's priced 4.9 to 5 million now. And he could be potentially a replacement for Mbomo and upgrade your defense. Like you can go to TAA and divert your fund. I think that's what people are thinking. And then the battle of relegation or off form Lapertahir against Gareth O'Neill. West Ham coming on top. Bowen 1 goal, 1 assist, 2-1 against Wolves. Cunha look like going off now, so I'm not sure. So, man, in terms of results from team, what do you think?
Well, firstly, I think, as a Saka owner, it's very disappointing that, Arsenal will pull them. And the only thing is that, the criticism there is that they're scoring from another set piece. So, but I don't understand the criticism. At the end of the day, it's still a goal. Last time when they were horrible at set pieces, you complain, how come they don't have anyone good? How come they don't do well at set pieces? Now they do so well in set pieces to the point that they actually scoring more for the set pieces. The complaint is so boring, all they do is set pieces. It's ridiculous. But the criticism that should be more employed is that is the open goal suffering from it? Are they not putting enough emphasis on the open goal concept? Definitely the set piece are doing well, but they need to do more. So, and it's a subset. Obviously, those of us, we all, 99% FPL engaged managers have Saka in their team. So, obviously, it's disappointing because I think last week also he didn't score either. It's another disappointing outcome for Arsenal, and more importantly, Arsenal falling behind in the race to the top. Well, they got 1 point less because Liverpool didn't play, but I think it's a disappointing result. The other thing we need to look at is, again, City failed to win, so it's really it's starting to look really bad for City, and a reason for us to, rather than hoping that the next fixture, the swing is around the corner, we should just wait until the swing actually happens. So we know that
Azmin mentioned about City, they lost again Juventus, right, in Champions League.
Yes, yeah. But Kovacic was on the bench in the midweek, so he will help. Although he's nowhere Rodri level, but yeah, him coming back will help to stabilize. And the fact that City do have a nice fixture run coming up, but it's not enough for me to want to recommend jumping straight back to Haaland. We need to see a bit more from City, a bit more of the steel they had at the start of the season.
All right, Afosz, after looking at those results, any quick or you're thinking what is in your plan in terms of player or team? Just a rough one.
I think the most frustrating one is the fact Manchester United lost against Forest. It's a high hope game for Amorim. So it's a disappointing one. You can see how disappointed he is during that particular game, especially during the third goal from Forest. I was kind of hope that Manchester United result kind of turn around when Amorim comes in, playing more better, more attacking.
But maybe they still need time. Afosz, give time. Maybe this time we might not want to jump in straight to Manchester United player, but you already in. It's still fair. Bruno still deliver a goal. Ahmad produced the assist. So Hodgson with a goal also. So maybe there's still some players that you can jump in, but they are still adjusting to Amorim style, right?
Yeah, correct. I think for those who still have at least Manchester United as is a whole at the moment. So, but I I'm not suggesting to bring them at the moment. It's
Okay.
more like a wait and see. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's go to the talking point that people are looking at. I think some of the questions also looking at this. Uh, Before we conclude, the people talk about Gabriel injury situation. They're looking at whether because Gabriel did not play in the Champions League, and then we are not sure about how the team use will be if Leicester. How we going to maneuver in terms of Gabriel injury situation? People talk about Mbomo replacement, whether he is a sell is also a question. Also, people thinking about Bruno. Afosz did mention it's a keep, but they are looking at whether keep or sell is also a question because Manchester is still adjusting to the new style playing of Amorim. Maybe should they just distribute some fund into the defense. Also, best Liverpool defenders to jump on because Conte out, Gomez. People questioning whether first 11, but Azmin can answer that later. TA also maybe that the people look at, but I think Azmin did mention TA is not worth that value. And then Chelsea assets, Palmer, Jackson, Enzo in radar right now. And then people looking at Isaac over Jackson or maybe Watkins, but Watkins bench last week. Which striker premium that people should go if they say deciding to downgrade Haaland. But before we answer this question, let's take a look at the fixture ticker. Maybe that can also give idea how we can answer this question. In the next 8, because I just put that in the next 8 because people may be looking at a longer run after the festive period. But Liverpool, I think Liverpool there, clearly the fixture are coming back better. Fulham, Spurs away is not something that's scary now that they can concede a lot of goal. Leicester, West Ham, Manchester United, Forest, there's some excellent fixture coming up. Newcastle, I'm not sure about their interest, but they are second in the ticker in the next 8. Leicester and Ipswich. I think that's the 2 matches that I just want to point out. If you're thinking about getting, I said that's the best entry point. The promoted team, Leicester, Ipswich. The next 2, then Villa, Manchester United, Spurs, maybe some mix back there. Chelsea continue to have really good run. If you start with Jackson, I think it's still fine. Brentford, Everton, Fulham, Ipswich, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, wow. Before they face Man City, I'm not sure how Man City will be there in Gameweek 23. Right? Southampton, I'm not so much people there. Arsenal still good. I think if you think about Liverpool, Arsenal defense at home now against Fulham, Everton, really nice entry point. Crystal Palace, Ipswich, Brentford, Brighton, Spurs, and then Man City. Although their fixture are good, but their form right now situation is not great. Fulham, maybe I just touch a bit after Liverpool game. You can have Raul Jimenez back, maybe Southampton, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Ipswich, West Ham. I'm not sure whether I'm going to jump to that yet. But I'm not sure. And the bottom ticker, Everton is a no-no. We touched already that Mankolenko might not even come into my team at any time. So Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man City in the next 3. Then Ipswich, they also have some fixture coming up. Brentford, where people talk about it's time to move Mbomo out, maybe because this week they face Chelsea, then Forest, then some other tough fixture. Brighton, Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool in the next 6 and so on. So, talk about fixture ticker before maybe we can address the question.
Well, the main thing is that, you know, the top 4 sides, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, and City, are all in the top half of the ticker. They're 4 out of the top 6. So it's a case of balancing, you know, your investment and trying to maximize. And, you know, even that Chelsea run looks really, really juicy. You know, Bradford, Everton, Fulham, Ipswich, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Wolves, all the way. It's insane, you know. Whereas Liverpool may not so straightforward. but because you have Forest there away, and remember Forest did win at Liverpool, so definitely something they're probably looking for revenge there, and not might be so simple. But when you come back to those assets, because we already have from Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, we already have most of us have our Saka, Palmer, Salah triumvirate, so that's all there. But it's the key thing is to find the right supporting cast who will back up, and then later when we answer some of those questions that you have in the issues, in the previous slide. So that's where we need to look at that and try to relate, because that supporting cast is going to be key. Because when everyone has the same triumvirate, then after that, what's next? Who are you going to expect to help you go up the ranks?
All right, I go to Afosz. The first question, definitely after looking at that feature, the first people are looking at Gabriel injury situation. If he's still down this weekend, he already missed 2 game week. We should sideways move to Saliba or people looking at TAA. I think question Rakat they mentioned Gabriel to TAA. You have to find fun. Yes, definitely. But maybe you have some free transfer here. Or you could go like Timber. Arsenal defense, 5.7 million now at home against Everton. Fulham or Everton have really nice team. Gabriel injury situation. All of us have Gabriel, right? Azmin have, you have, myself. Is it a hole? Or is it a sell? I'm not sure about how to tackle this. Maybe Afosz, you are the highest rank among 3 of us. How you see to tackle this?
Okay, for my case, looking at this fixture ticker and the way people are hyping on DA, I think it's a good move if you have funds with one transfer. But if you don't, maybe Virgil van Dijk also is a good pick. Someone he's captain of the team, is most likely not going to bench in most games, and also he's very threatening in set pieces. He can get that good hitter to score goals as well. But if you don't have that fund to bring in the Liverpool defenders, maybe if you're still interested in Arsenal defenders to replace Gabriel, maybe Timbers can still be a good pick, or like I mentioned before, Saliba maybe is the target man in set pieces, as opposed to previously Gabriel's one to be targeted to get to score goals from corners. Maybe now Saliba is trying to fill in that particular spot. So I think those 1, 2, 3, 4, it's either those 2 options from Liverpool or 2 options from Arsenal is a good pick to replace Gabriel. Because
so you're inclined to sell if let's say the situation still unclear for Gabriel. Can I say that?
Yeah, if the situation is still unclear for Gabriel, I'm inclining to sell him for this week.
All right, Min, how about you?
Yeah, I wanted to come back to Brandon's tweet about that he will hold because he has bench cover. He has done. I guess if you do have decent bench cover, then you may want to hold on to him, because my 2 defenders have bad matchups and they're not that great either. So I'm really seriously considering, because I don't like the fact that I've got 6.1 now, 6.2 sitting on my bench.
Sitting on the bench, exactly.
Yeah, not playing. So I think it's grating on my. I'm starting to lose patience. But when I put it into context, the team has been doing okay without him. It's not like without him I've gone really, really bad. It's more case. I mean, like this week, it's more about the captaincy rather than him not helping out. So I have at the start of this game week started to really look at that TA. I have the funds. Yeah, so I might consider it depending on what news I get from Gabriel. Yeah, so I'm conscious of the fact that Everton, they'll probably keep a clean sheet like Everton, but against Crystal Palace away, I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm more likely to go for TAA if I'm confident of those attacking returns. That will be the decision for me this week.
But you did mention TAA might not be worth that value, 7 million. I think you tweet that before. Right?
Yes, I did, but at 6.9. I'm kidding. But I know, but I need to look because I'm trying to analyze back in the games that he's back. Is he more attacking, or is it just a coincidence that he got 2 attacking returns when he came in as a sub, two assists? So it really is about that. I'm not convinced yet. I haven't tried to save any money yet just to bring him in. I'm still looking at it and trying to decide. So, but the one news though is that and they're coming back to Rakan FPL's Virgil van Dijk or TAA. The one good news, which is good for TAA, is the fact that Konate's injury does not look as bad. There's news came out today saying that it's not as bad that is thought. So it does put a halt to those of us considering Gomez as an option.
I'm considering Gomez, but now
you may not want to do that anymore because it looks like the injury is not as bad as was initially thought. Yeah, but it does make it good for TA. But again, the price that you need to pay is, you are using a lot there.
Right. I'm sticking with Azmin because want to answer about Liverpool defense. Because I believe Liverpool defense are the best right now with 7 clean sheets. Then Arsenal, Manchester United are in the mix. But Liverpool, I feel the one that you should target if you want to bring anyone in this week in terms of defense. So TA 7 million, Virgil van Dijk 6.4, I'm right. Gomez 4.9 million. You already touched about Konate. I think the people are toying on which is the best defender for Liverpool to bring in. You still believe TA over VVD, over Gomez and so on, or people can go cheap with Gomez. Just go with him first. Maybe 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, then later see how Konate situation. And then what do you think, man?
The good news about going there, Tsimikas is out, so Robertson could be an option, but Tsimikas looks likely to come back before the end of the year. So again, and to be fair, Liverpool's injuries issues are starting to be relieved. Alisson came back midweek, so that's in the Champions League. So definitely more good news for Liverpool. I would say that if you can't afford to wait, then Virgil van Dijk might be your best option. A balance of not too expensive and the chances of getting clean sheet. To be fair, the chances of him to get goals, we know historically, he does score goals, but it's not as great as it used to be. I mean, we may be thinking too much historically and not looking at it on a practical basis. But at least clean sheet wise, it's a very strong chance. Although to be fair, you've seen Liverpool concede the clean sheets to the unlikeliest opponents like Southampton, and keeping clean sheets against the likes of Villa and City. So that's something that you have to get your head around. But again, I wouldn't check out on the news on Konate, but as it stands, I wouldn't recommend going for Gomez.
Okay, fair. Next, dilemma is Mbomo replacement. You can see there, Brentford fixture, Chelsea away, Forest at home, Brighton away, then Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool. After that, the fixture really turned. It looks like people really wants to move Mbomo out. But is there a case to just keep Mbomo? And because he's 90 minutes on penalty, but you guys do not have Mbomo. People like I myself still have, and other players still have. For Afosz, if you want to replace Mbomo, would you go Bruno like you have? Fine. Or you could go Bowen, or other cheap option like Enzo. People look at that. Semenyo, or Smith Rowe. It will can potentially be there because Fulham fixture after Liverpool is nice. People looking at Crystal Palace after, I don't know, Eze, maybe after Arsenal their fixture still turn. Afosz, what do you think?
No. I think if you have funds and you're willing to go against City, then Bruno might be the best option at the moment. Looking at the almost that particular price range, but otherwise maybe Bowen is a nice replacement as well. We at least for the next 3 game weeks. Yeah, I think the best one to swap is just it's either you hold it if you're confident enough that Bournemouth gonna give you returns against Chelsea especially, then you can keep him. But otherwise, if you take advantage over fixtures, then Bowen Bowen is a good pick. So
Okay. All right. I mean, you have Bowen, I know. Would you suggest people to jump to Bowen as the replacement from Bomo?
So no, the problem with Mbeumo, if you take a look, is that he's very much a home player. I think he's only scored once away, which was against Spurs. All most of his returns have been at home. So if you're prepared to ride that fact and accept that away he's not going to get a lot, then then maybe you can consider keeping him. Having said that, when you look at who he's playing at home in this next run, Forest, Arsenal, City, and Liverpool.
in that case, then
That's cutthroat, okay?
that's a total
Yeah.
sell.
Yeah, so if you keep him, you know what you're getting into, so you shouldn't complain if nothing happens. But yeah, no, for me, I'd sell that Rakan FPL. For me, Vincent, no, it's just that Forest defense are better, even if they're playing away. The Forest do have a good defense. So yeah, sell options. Yeah, obviously Bowen, the next tree is really looks very attractive. But other than that, at that price point, it's a very tricky price point to be fair.
Or maybe James Madison from Spurs trying to take advantage at least one game week against
so one.
Southampton.
Yeah, but after that they play Liverpool and Forest. So
Yeah.
it's a
Of
really
course, can
tough.
you guarantee minutes for Madison? I don't think so, right?
It's a very tough one. Yeah, exactly.
It's hard. I can't think of any. Gordon could potentially.
Gordon, yeah.
I think that's one thing under the radar. But Newcastle, Leicester, Ipswich is a nice entry point. I think that's one of my thinking also. But Gordon is not in form. That's all. But Newcastle have decent fixture.
The other problem was Gordon got benched the other day, so I don't know if that's.
I think it's a more of a rest.
Yeah, it's a rest. So if he's subject to rest rather than starting and substituted out early, that it just makes it a bit harder for me. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's go next one. I think I'll go Afosz because also people talking about Bruno. You are keeping him, but is there a case? I think Bruno 90 minutes on penalty is integral for Manchester United, but Manchester United still are developing under Amorim. But could there be a case you distribute fund to upgrade your defense if your defense are a bit light? What do you think, Afosz?
Okay. At the moment, I've issue with Gabriel because his current status is still uncertain. So I might transfer. Of course, some people have still have a decent bench cover, try to keep him as long as he can because he's a seasoned keeper. He's a good defender. Is worth it to keep, but I think at that price point, it's not worth it to be in the bench for so long. So you can always get him back later on. But at the moment, I'm trying to figure out whether trying to make a one move Gabriel to the likes. I can do Saliba, I can do Timber, but currently, what currently attracts me the most is Van Dijk with one move. But if DA is the one that got attracted me the most, I might sell Bruno to fund for DA. that means I got to downgrade Bruno to some other options that I have not take a look yet at the moment. So
Oh, Budak
I
FPL
might
just mention to you, Bruno only a home player like Homo. Did not score again away. I don't know. Is that true?
and looking at the past record, yeah, but look at the same time with City's poor form, even though we know City is going to be tough, despite uh, good fixture,
I'm not sure
bad
we
performance
can
or what.
look at that. Sorry, I'm not sure we can
Yeah.
look at that home away record as a benchmark at the moment, because let's face it, they are under new management. So the style has definitely changed. Yeah, so that record might not be something to consider as a factor actually. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm currently leaning towards keeping Bruno, just bulldoze against City, try to steal points against tough fixtures.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
It's not a tough fixture though, City at the moment. That's the thing. So
At the moment, yeah, of course.
yeah, defensive wise, they still all over the place, even though they can score goals. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can
They're leaky
back you
everywhere.
up.
Okay, I think also there's some question that regards what Guardiola. Okay, I think Azmin have Guardiola. Is he someone that you're thinking to transfer out, considering what Man City, or is he still a keep? Or what do you think?
At the moment, I'm still keeping because City's defense is a bit. Okay, Lewis is suspended. Walker's legs have gone somewhere else. So I'm definitely still keeping. And at the end of the day, it's not so much.
Okay.
Again, it's still not so much about the defense. It's about the his
Potential
attacking
attacking.
return.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So it's really is all about that. So he's still very high, and he's still the second highest goal scorer after Haaland, together with
Wow.
Kovacic. They had 3 goals. I don't see any reason not to.
I think I can still remember Afosz enjoyed those Guardiola points. That's where he's at 90 plus K right now. I think Guardiola is one of your men, right?
Not exactly. I enjoyed his point during earlier season, but somewhere along the line, I did transfer him out, and that's where he got 20
Oh,
points
okay,
over
right.
2 weeks.
Sorry, I got it wrong.
Not a problem.
All right.
And then I decided to bring him back later on.
All right. I just want to share in terms of forward lineup. Also, people are looking a bit impatient now with Cunha blank, Pedro blank. I think those two are players there, and Jackson also another one. But someone like you, man, maybe you do not have any premium striker. People also ask this. I think Brandon did mention about the best front lineup. Where is it?
It's a good question.
If let's say people thinking about Jackson, I said, and so on, looking at that fixture, what is in your thinking?
I guess assuming that Jackson isn't having a low run of form, then I still say Jackson is probably one of the better options there, because you got Brentford who are extremely leaky, Everton who just might lose their manager at some point. Fulham, Fulham should be a tough one. After that, Ipswich and Crystal Palace is there for the taking. So with Chelsea is a problem of distribution of goals. Who's going to get the goals? And Palmer, obviously, he has the monopoly on penalties. Yeah, so if you're willing to invest a bit more on Jackson, then it's fine. Because in the same way, during the start of the season, those who invested in Havertz, who did well, and now Arsenal had a good run of fixtures, Havertz could be potentially good again. Remember, you know that when it comes to set pieces, Havertz is also one of the targets along with Gabriel. So those two, are the typical set piece targets for Saka to aim at. Yeah, but after the selling of Haaland, and to fund that expensive midfield, then you come back to the optimum lineup. Just now, can you flash that again? It was Vardy, Cunha, and someone?
Pedro. Yeah.
Pedro.
Vardy,
Yeah.
Cunha, Pedro.
All the cheap front lineup.
Yeah, although the thing is, Pedro and Cunha have not performed up to their expectations at the moment. But at the moment, in terms of for Cunha and Pedro, the next fixture is still good. The next two fixtures are still strong enough for you to continue playing with them.
Definitely.
But if they don't return after that, then it could be a sell. It could definitely be a sell for me. But Vardy, it's a risk. It's still, to be fair, they aren't involved in other competition anymore. It's just the Premier League. So Vardy will lead that line for Leicester. So if you're willing to take that risk of him, his bones breaking at some point, and then go for it. Then I would go for it. But they play Liverpool, Manchester City 18-19. But although Vardy can score against anyone, but Liverpool might be a bridge too far for Leicester.
I just want to share my point. If let's say you're thinking about a striker this week, I think despite I'm having Jackson, I'm not sure about Afosz. I think I set the best pick because Leicester and Ipswich, he also still returned against Liverpool last week, and against Leicester he could explode. Leicester had been conceding chances, and Ipswich, as we know, they also Southampton, Leicester, and Ipswich are the bottom three teams in terms of XGC. So I guess they are the team to target. I think if I put my money this week, definitely I set over Jackson. Afosz, what do you think?
Yeah, the thing about Isaac is because he's not giving any points the moment he's in my team.
No.
So I think for early starting of the season, I think we all kind of have Isaac. Yeah. So along like five week or so, he's not giving any return. So we decided to transfer him out, and then when he start to score goals and picking up his form or whatnot, somewhere along the line when people wanted it, I think the most recent one, GW11, 12 or something, when most people try to ditch Haaland and bring in Isaac, and still Isaac did not.
Yeah, you did mention some people still holding Haaland, right? So if they say, I think Brandon did mention about Haaland, that is it too late? I don't think it's too late to sell Haaland. You could do it this week and get Isaac or Jackson.
Yeah,
I mean,
agree.
Yeah. And you have funds to spend elsewhere as well. So when you do that.
Yeah, correct. So 14.9 to 8.0, you roughly
yes.
5-ish can easily upgrade your midfields.
Yeah. I think it's never too late. I also in that kind of situation, I sold him like the past 2 weeks, and the feeling is good, definitely, especially when you're having those Salah, Saka, and Palmer in midfield, and they are the only three players that has break the 100 points. Even Haaland slightly 2 points away from 100 points, and now in terms of ownership, Salah and Palmer are sharing around 61%. They are the highest owned by managers, and then Saka and Haaland at 40+%. So that's the current situation right now. So I don't think it's too late to sell Haaland.
Yeah, it's not too late to sell Haaland, and I think it's the best time to have Salah, Saka, and Palmer in your team.
All right, I think we already touched all those dilemmas. We can come back to those questions again. Let's jump to Gameweek 16 fixture. So the deadline will be at 9:30 p.m. Malaysian time. Really late because 11 p.m. all four matches will play late on Saturday. Arsenal versus Everton, money ball game. I can see. Same goes for Liverpool against Fulham. Same goes for Newcastle against Leicester, and Wolves against Ipswich. They are the bottom two team, if I'm right. So they are really spicy in terms of Ipswich at 18. Wolves at 19, and then Southampton at 20th place. But they are really desperate on points, both at 9 points. And I think anything can happen, but we expect the likes of me, who have Wolves players, we want Wolves players to perform this game. I think this could be the last straw. Could be the last straw. Cunha, if let's say no return, maybe then people think about Wood or any other player. All right. Then Forest against Villa, tough fixture on paper, but Forest are good at home. And then on Sunday, 10 p.m., only one match. Yeah, Brighton versus Crystal Palace. Then Manchester Derby, City versus United, and then 3 a.m. late night, two fixture, Chelsea, Brentford. Kenapa lah 3 pagi? So I don't think I can wake up and see this game. And Southampton versus Spurs. On paper, Spurs, but Southampton could smell blood, right? Against this game against Spurs. They really won points, right? And then on Monday night, Bournemouth versus West Ham. Man, plenty of matches that we can look forward, right?
Yeah, the thing is that, coming back to that Southampton Spurs game, because Angie is, he took a big risk to field VDV and Romero against Chelsea because they were coming from an injury, and now he looks like he's lost them for an even longer time. So that is increasing the pressure, and there has been instances with Angie, him fighting with arguing with fans, it's not looking good. Yeah, so Southampton definitely feel like they could do something here, at home and try to. So I would have probably avoid the Spurs at this point, even though they play Southampton, but I wouldn't bring them in because I feel the squad is looking a bit dicey at the moment.
Okay.
Chelsea, Brentford, that's it. That gold money ball there is there. Brentford home, they concede. Away, they concede. They've only kept one clean sheet all season, and that was against Everton, I think.
Yes,
yeah.
Everton.
So yeah, I mean that's where your money ball is, and that's why this week we've been there'll be options looking at Enzo Fernandez as a possible action. Of course, just we already talked about Jackson. Of course, the rotation problem is an issue. So that's why everyone stick with Palmer, who doesn't play in the Conference League. So just let's see what lineup happens tonight for the Conference League. Well, we already got the lineup, right? And you got Neto.
I think Chelsea is playing right now. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and who's that guy? Didn't play. Madueke didn't travel. So definitely. Is Nkuku starting? I didn't look at the lineup.
I don't think so. No.
Is Jackson starting?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. It's Chelsea already 2-0 up. Mike Gui and no goal. Pedro Neto assist. Yeah.
Okay, because Neto suspended for the league, so yeah. All right. Okay. So let's see the outcome, because we do know that Lavia is injured, so yeah, that impacts a bit. We can talk about that in another time.
Thank you, Brendan. 2-0, and Budak IPS say Chelsea fielded Team C. Okay, I don't know that Team C.
The squad that is so much. Yeah, most probably.
Yeah, 3 kids. Okay, fair. All right. Afosz, fixture for Gameweek 16. Plenty of really expectation are high. Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think based on this these fixtures is most probably gonna be a captaincy split again, but looking at last game week, again most probably we just settle with Chelsea versus Brentford instead, because Arsenal and Liverpool play early, so not sure. Arsenal and Liverpool, but of course the most exciting ones is Manchester Derby.
Okay, all right. City and United, anything can happen there. I won't be surprised. Haaland scored, Bruno scored, right? High scoring game, or anything can happen in that game. All right, I think we already at 1:30 minutes, 1 hour and 30 minutes mark. Let's just quickly run through captaincy for this week. I know people going for Salah, but in terms of fantasy football hub, Gameweek 16 point prediction have Palmer as the highest in terms of predicted points this week with 8.1. Then Salah 7.8. Haaland, again Manchester United, all right, 7.8. I didn't expect that. I said 7.2, and then Saka. We already know the usual suspect, Saka, Salah, Palmer in this list. No surprise, I said also in this. But Palmer over Salah in terms of point prediction. Min, I go to you. After the 18 points last week, is he the one that people should go to?
It's hard to avoid it, really. Because of it is against Brentford. I think Brandon also posted something about Brentford not being able to
Brentford,
yeah, and it's just the way they defend. If you remember last time when they had Raya, the setup was different. They were able to keep clean sheets and they were more defensively solid. It seems like they've abandoned that a bit and focused more on scoring more goals to get results. So as a result, the back is quite open, I feel. So definitely I would it's hard to look past Palmer. Although to be fair, Salah could be a decent option running a form, but I don't know if there's interruption in the schedule. But then he did still score the penalty in the Champions League. So but hard lah to not go for Palmer.
Okay, all right. Afosz, your feeling? Palmer, Salah.
Personally, I might just captain Palmer because against Brentford can't keep a clean sheet. But I feel like permanent captain Salah is the way to go at the moment.
Okay,
But,
all right.
yeah.
But Salah, but Salah just remind Champions League. Liverpool won 1-0 and Salah still on the score sheet. And I read or I heard somewhere in terms of goal involvement, Salah is number one. 70% of goal from Liverpool coming from Salah. Then Palmer and Saka at 60%. For this. So so what do you think, Min?
Yeah. I mean, with Salah, the dependency is clear. Although you got Diaz who on his day scores goals, and Jota's still coming back from injury. Darwin not so much. Gakpo does chip in, but the midfield chips in, but it's still all about Salah, especially in the second half of the game. I guess you have to. I just feel that Chelsea's team is more rested.
Okay.
Midweek, as we see with the current squad, so they're very fresh. So compared to Liverpool.
All right, who's actually playing away at Girona, right? So maybe that you can take as a factor, but I still feel Salah still the king for Liverpool. And when we comparing the opponent, Liverpool play Fulham and then Chelsea plays Brentford. Fulham is a better side, right? So if you want to put that into context.
Except that they've now lost both their centre backs, Anderson and Bessie. Okay. Although theoretically you would think because Robinson can shackle Salah, but you would think the who plays up front there, whether it's Diaz or Gakpo or even Darwin, could be the ones who profit without those two centre backs.
Okay. All right, fair. We discussed on that captaincy pick, but I just want to show in terms of market projection, who's the odds of goal and clean sheet, and we can see there Chelsea on top with 2.75. They're expected to score 2.75. Second, 2.6. Is it Newcastle there? Again, Leicester. Then Liverpool 2.55. Then Arsenal 2.45. In terms of clean sheet, Arsenal are expected to keep clean sheet 52%. Then Newcastle 42% against Leicester. Then Liverpool keeping clean sheet against Fulham at 40%. Chelsea defense you cannot trust. So definitely. So it is strengthened our debate in terms of who's the best. The market says Chelsea, and when Chelsea scored, Palmer will definitely in the mix. So Afosz, Palmer, your point saying about Palmer, then the market says that could be the right pick.
Yeah, I agree because we also know that Palmer has a very high ceiling. He can easily get a hat trick goals or hat trick assists. He involves in a lot of Chelsea goals. So yeah, I think it's the safe pick in terms of captaincy this week.
Okay, all right. Afosz, I mean, after looking at this,
Yeah, Chelsea just looks really strong. I'm surprised that
Yeah.
Liverpool's goals odds is quite strong as well. Surprised, I didn't expect that. But in terms of the CS side, yeah, Arsenal. This is where you break it in against Everton. Unless, but I don't know. And Everton had a longer break, so who knows? Is DCL going? You would think. I'm sure. I'm sure DCL would have loved to play last week to continue because of his resurgence 1 week, but that stunted again. So I don't know if the momentum has been lost, and I expect Arsenal to keep a clean sheet there.
Definitely, Everton has failed to score goals regardless who start up front. So that's all I can say. And they face tough fixture after this. Let's jump to our team pick for this week. For my team first. I got 2 free transfer because I decided to roll last week despite Liverpool and Everton match postponement. 0.1 million in the bank. So really tight in terms of my budget. As you can see, Flecken in goal, away to Chelsea. I think I'll play him over Fabianski. I don't trust West Ham, right? Away to Bournemouth, but I will decide that. Who's my feeling in terms of keeper? Nuri at home against Switch. Gabriel, hopefully he start, but we can discuss on that. Everton at home. And Konate, who is still in my team.
Yeah.
Irritated with that 5.3 million. But could he return back anytime soon? I think I don't want to think about that. He is a sell at my point right now. Palmer, Salah, Saka, and Boymo in my team. Currently, Palmer is my captain. Cunha, Jackson, and João Pedro. And on my bench, Fabianchi, Rogers, Greaves, and Mykolenko. Really nothing great in terms of bench. So I will address my defense. Definitely, I have 2 transfer. There are some potential transfer that I could make. So I think the obvious one, what people are doing right now, is distributing fund. Downgrade Mbomo to a Rogers or Enzo. That's what people are looking at right now. So I could do that and upgrade Konate to TAA. Sweet and simple. Do not overthink. And because people are doing that, I got a Liverpool defense and an Arsenal defense. But if let's say Gabriel is out, I don't know how Arteta going to mention that. I'm not sure. Gabriel is out. Then maybe Gabriel and Konate to be transferred out, and I have to use that to transfer. Gabriel could go to Saliba or downgrade to Timber, and then maybe I could only afford Gomez or VVD. I think that's all. I cannot go to TAA, which is still fine, I suppose, with my current situation. But Mbomo will continue to be in my team, which is, I think, still fine, despite playing away Chelsea, because Chelsea has been conceding goals. They are not keeping clean sheet that much, and Mbomo could score the goal away. But yeah, historically, Brentford are really worse at home, away. So that could be, I think, Gabriel's situation. That one. Or
they score goals away. It's just that Mbomo doesn't seem to be involved as much.
Yeah, so I think Gabriel's situation is really tricky one. If he's out or he's uncertain, I really not sure. Another option is, but Azmin did mention about Gomez might not be that long in the team. That would be frustrating. Okay. Another option is, if let's say I just need Mbomo to Gordon could be a potential. Okay. And then Konate to I could not afford Timber. My money is still Timber already 5.7 million. So I could go to Gomez if you don't want to think. And then tackle Gomez when Konate returns. Whenever he returns, right? So maybe that can be an option. You guys
you don't want to do across Gabriel to Timber.
Gabriel to Timber and then upgrade Konate, is it? I think that I need to depending on the team news, definitely. But I will want to keep Gabriel and address Konate. Maybe just downgrade to Gomez 4.9 million and just write it down. I think that could be a possibility.
Okay.
Afosz, what do you think? I ask Afosz first.
Yeah, I think the one, if this is my team, I will address Gabriel and Konate. But I just play Bemo, maybe. Yeah, because your fine is tight.
Yeah.
Very. Or maybe just keep it simple. Gabriel to Van Dijk and Konate to Lewis Hall ke.
Okay, fair. Newcastle punya fixture pun not bad and they have potentially a back character, right? Could be lah. That could be a possibility. Fair. I think I'll talk about that over the week. Let's go to is it Azmin team? Yes, Min, you have 1.4 million in the bank, one free transfer. How you set up? How will you set up?
So cells in the goal, then Guardiola and Al-Nawi, that's unlikely to change. Gabriel is the issue that we'll have as well. Bowen, Saka, Salah, and Palmer. To be fair, I have my captaincy on Palmer at the moment, so let's see how the team news pans out. Then Evan Nelson, Cunha, Pedro as my cheap striker options, and I see no reason to change based on the current matchups. So on the bench, I have Rodgers away to Forest and Robinson away to Liverpool. Robinson could do something against Liverpool, but I'm not gonna buck that and try to be clever. Yeah, and of course Justin, who Leicester just don't concede, and he's there just in case. So I'm never gonna put him in the starting lineup. So the problem now is Gabriel. I do have funds. I got 1.4 million in the bank. So if I don't rely on my bench, if I don't want Robinson to come in, then I could upgrade to Trent Alexander-Arnold at the moment. But in my past passports, I've mentioned that I still think he's expensive for what he does. Not much crossing into the box because he drifts into the middle, which I feel impacts on his points. So I haven't decided yet what I want to do. I could consider just rolling and just go for Robinson and accept that I'm not going to get that big a score for Robinson. Yeah. So I might just hold. I might just roll because I feel the rest.
If I'm in your situation, if Gabriel is fine, you just roll your transfer. Your team is good. Guardiola, you just play against United. You just never know.
No, but even if Gabriel isn't fine, I might just take the hit of one Robinson or Justin and just keep Gabriel because I do feel Gabriel once fit, he's solid, he's strong. So yeah,
I think I agree. I think your team no issue. Let's go to Afosz team. You have 0.5 million in the bank and you have 3 free transfer. What would you gonna do this week?
Assuming that Gabriel's situation is still uncertain, I might transfer Gabriel out for either Saliba or Virgil van Dijk. Those two. And roll the rest of transfers.
3 transfers.
Yeah, really nice. I just read out your team. Raya in goal. You have Hall against Leicester, Nouri, Gabriel, Bruno Fernandes, Salah, Palmer, Saka, Jackson, Cunha, and João Pedro. Really nice. 3 free transfer. If let's say Gabriel confirm can play and you kept your 3 transfer. If not, you address Gabriel to Saliba or VVD. I think that's fine. Really fine.
But if Gabriel is free, I'm not sure, but I still leaning towards transferring Gabriel out.
Okay.
Because but if if I would decide to keep Gabriel or should Gabriel is returning soon, maybe this week or the other week, maybe just keep him, and if he didn't play, just let Mazri take his place for automatic sub. But at the moment, I am leaning towards transferring Gabriel out.
All right. Min, any comment?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Masri, gets subbed out, early before 60 minutes,
Yeah, that's
it's
the
just so annoying, right? Yeah. So I don't know
yeah,
that
because-
Howard. I'm wondering about the Howard Bellis, whether it's worth a punt to start him
Ooh.
against a very erratic Spurs. But it's a punt, so
No.
it's a punt, it's a risk as well, but
yeah, it's a
who
huge
knows
risk
the
if you want to do
risk
that.
and
You
huge
might
number
end
of
up with
goals
getting a
conceded.
negative instead, you
Yeah,
never know.
exactly.
But
Yeah. No.
Really nice one. You have Raya, Gabriel, and Saka. Wow, bestnya.
yeah.
So who knows, right?
When you
Arsenal
gonna-
Captaincy, you got 12 points.
You need to sell one to fit in Arteta later, man.
Yeah. that or GW24 onwards.
Lambat lagi.
Lambat lagi. All right, everyone, we come to the end of the stream. Just want to remind, Gameweek 16 deadline will be on Saturday at 9 p.m. Malaysian time. So our last word, Min, your last word.
Thanks for everyone who joined us today and the questions. My last word is, I want to know why Nkunku is not traveling. Why Nkunku isn't part of the squad? There's something fishy about that one. Why?
Yes lah. Dia kata, why you go? Hantar budak dia, right? So I don't know.
Yeah.
C,
I
Chelsea
wanna know.
team C. Kuku from B.
Afosz, your last word.
Yeah, all the best Game Week 16. So be well aware of the final deadline, last minute news and everything. So, but if you have a doubt, do nothing. It might turn out well
Oh.
for you.
Right. I think that's the same quote FPL General mentioned. When you not sure what you do, just do
Yeah.
nothing.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you guys for joining. Do hit the like button and subscribe to our FPL Jedi YouTube channel and support us. And good luck to everyone. See you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.
Take care.